Our home, Aurelia Cavella, is surrounded on all sides by the forest.
Happy birthday. Go and get yourself something nice.
In due time, all of you shall be rewarded with the freedom that Azeros brings.
Anyone, please.
As we're
You
dying on the
must.
floor. Oh,
Protect.
checked what?
Awaken. Destiny.
Uh-oh.
Judgment.
Yeah. Is this word association? I blinked a few times, trying to work out where I was. The darkness that surrounded my vision wore off slowly as I sat up.
That's right. I was in the town square, listening to the speaker, and then...
Wait, did I collapse here? I quickly checked over my body. The pain was completely gone.
Huh? What? What is this?
It's an arm. Oh, but you got a tattoo? When you get a tattoo? When I looked closer, I noticed something that hadn't been there before. Some kind of strange markings were running down my arm. It's not a language I'd ever seen before. My first instinct was to try and scratch them off, but it was like it was branded onto my skin. It wasn't going anywhere.
I have to get back to the orphanage. They won't know where I am.
When I left, the sun was still high in the sky, but now it's already night. How long have I been out? I stood up slowly, holding onto the wall for balance.
Ugh.
The burning sensation was gone, but all I was left with was a sore body. Must be from collapsing onto the ground.
Where am I? I guess I'll head back the way I came.
I feel like we're the new divine speaker. Like the other dude is a fraud or something, and we're the divine speaker. Through the thick darkness, I followed the alleyway back the way I came, desperate for all this to be a dream. That sounds scary, Chalky. After a little searching, I somehow found my way back to the town square. A few people buzzed around, doing last-minute shopping or chatting with each other. I clutched my branded arm close to my chest, making sure to keep it out of view. I don't know what they'd do if they saw it. I don't even know what it is. I couldn't help glancing around nervously, like some kind of thief worried about getting busted. That's why I didn't notice when I ran headlong into someone and got knocked off my feet.
Ouch!
Oh my god, he's a love interest. How can you tell? Crop top, long hair, moody side eye, scars. That's how you know. And we ran into him? Are you kidding me, chat? This is our first love interest. I looked up at the person standing over me. He was tall, lean man, probably in his 20s, with dark red hair that reached down his back and a serious look on his face.
I'm so sorry.
He stood there for a moment, just watching me. His gaze made me nervous. It was like a snake sizing up its prey. That's when I noticed it wasn't me he was staring at, but my arm. I instinctively clutched my arm to my chest.
Is this where you usually spend your time bumping into people, or do you have a few favorite spots?
What? No. I don't usually bump.
Ah, I guess this is a privilege then. I feel lucky.
My mouth just kind of hung open. What's this guy's problem? I don't think I've ever met someone so rude. This is giving me Wattpad. You're not wrong, 8K.
I'm very sorry for running into you. I was just trying to get home quickly, too.
To hide whatever that is on your arm?
Again, all I could do was look at him in shock. We stared at each other for a moment before he held his hand out to me.
Let me help you up. If you stay down there long enough, people will start to think you're part of the scenery.
Why you kind of fine, though? I'll take his hand. I'm looking respectfully, chat, that's all. I hesitated for a split second before grabbing his hand gently. He pulled me up to my feet, and I could finally see just how tall he was.
Thank you.
Just try not to make a habit of looking so sketchy. Who knows what kind of people you'll attract?
Like you? The smirk on his face when he said that was unnerving. I think I should get out of here quickly.
Of course. I should really be heading off now. I'm late. Again, I'm very sorry for the commotion I caused.
I quickly turned to leave. This guy's the last person I want to be wasting my time on. I mean, he kind of fine.
Wait a second. I know something about the markings on your arm.
I whirled around to face him again, faster than I've ever moved before.
You do?
Whoops.
I mean, you do? What do you know about it?
I know the speaker keeps tomes written with the same markings in his personal archive. He's actually allowing visitors, but tonight only.
How convenient.
Too bad you seem so busy. This might be the last time it's ever open to the public. Anyway, good night.
The red-haired man turned around and slipped off into the shadows. I was left with his words just hanging in the air.
I guess one more slight detour wouldn't hurt. I'm already late as it is.
I bite my lip, thinking hard on his words. There's no way I could miss this chance. If it's the only way to find out what these markings mean, then... Determined, I turned towards the direction of the speaker's archives. It took a while to walk across the town to the speaker's palace. It was large, but mostly empty, seeing as he was the only resident. Huh? Hold up, the speaker has a palace that he only lives in? What the fuck? This is the first time I've ever heard of anyone being allowed into his personal archives, though. I think even the Lord has restricted access. Maybe this is my lucky day after all. I walked up to the door and knocked lightly.
Hello? Speaker? Are you home?
We're just gonna walk into his house? When I knocked, the door swung open. It was already unlocked, and I could see light from inside.
I guess he's probably already in there, showing the archives to other people. Excuse me.
Okay. I feel like we just broke in, and he's not actually showing the other people the stuff, which makes me hesitant about this. I opened the door further and followed a corridor down to another door that was slightly ajar. Oh, I want it. When I entered the room, I almost toppled over in astonishment. Thankfully, I didn't, since it would have been the third time I fell over in a single day. Bookshelves lined the walls, going up to the ceiling. Tomes and documents littered every surface, and the hazy light the candles flickered all over only furthered my amazement. It was beautiful. Never in my life had I seen this many books. I walked in further, feeling the spines with my fingers and smelling the musty scent of the room. Various books littered the tabletop in the center of the room. I walked closer to them. I read some of the titles: A Brief History, Sid Kahem, Bloodlines. There were thousands of books here I would love to read. It's too bad he's only allowing visitors for a single day. I picked up the first book, A Brief History. I flicked through it slowly, reading a few sentences off of each page. It looked like some pages were missing. It would jump from talking about the palaces being built to the animals that inhabit our land.
Let's see. Foundation? The kingdom of Aurelia Cavella was founded by Prince Shion on the second eve of Augustus.
Interesting. I've never heard of who first founded our kingdom. This book must be really old if it's talking about that. I put the first back in its place and moved to the Sid Kaham. It was different to the other books. A journal. When I opened it, I found that every page was covered in black ink, making it unreadable. It looked like someone had a bit of an accident with this one and an inkwell. Or was it purposeful? Bloodlines was next. I picked it up from the pile. I opened it to the middle. The name should have given me a clue, honestly. It was some kind of records of birth. Or what looked like a high-class bloodline. On this page, the bloodline started with King Shion of Sid Kaham, Tanix, and moved down to the most recent times. It ended with Prince Caspian.
I keep reading about this Sid Kaem. wonder what it means. Wait a second.
Prince Xian was the founder of our city, right? That must mean this is the royal bloodline, but why does it only start 500 years ago? Aurelia Cavella has always been here for thousands of years. There must be a mistake here. Surely. People had to live somewhere before then, and everyone knows there isn't anywhere inhabitable outside of our protected lands. We're finding out it's a cult. There's only here in the forest. I flicked the page over to the next one. The page was filled in strange markings, in a script I'd never read before. I hurriedly pulled up my sleeve to compare them and found some matching characters. The layout was similar to that of the royal bloodline, so it must be a list of names. But who?
It looks like the last person added to this list was 19 years ago.
It's us. It's us. Oh my god, we're royalty and we didn't know. We're not actually 18, we're 19. So absorbed in trying to work out what that meant, I didn't hear the sound of someone opening the door behind me.
Well, well, well.
Oh.
An intruder in my archives?
Hi, you're hot. I whipped around to face the voice. It was none other than the speaker himself. I'd never seen him up so close. I hid the book instinctively inside of my cloak.
Speaker!
I dropped to one knee in front of him out of respect.
Thank you so much for having the archives open today. I've never seen so many books.
Excuse me? Having the archives open?
Uh-oh. He looked at me with visible confusion on his face.
That's right. The man in the town square. He told me.
Wait, what? I definitely heard him right. He said it was open to everyone. Then, why does the speaker look like he knows nothing about it?
I'm not sure who told you what, but my archives are off limits to all but myself.
He got us on our knees in the first meeting. Oh my god, he's daddy material. Behind him, I could see guards appearing from every direction.
Trespassing in a restricted zone is an act of treachery. The only punishment fit for someone betraying their own home is death.
Hold up. Death? For reading some books? That seems a bit excessive. I could feel my stomach drop when he said that. Death. Death? I've never heard of anyone sentenced to death. No, this is all wrong.
No, wait, but please. I'm not betraying. I just wanted to read.
I don't know what your intentions were coming here, but I must act in the best interest of both our residents and the gods. Guards, take him.
Now wait there just a minute, Speaker.
I could see someone pushing through all of the guards, making their way to the front of the crowd. It was our lord, who works with the speaker to uphold our lands.
We're not equipped to suddenly have a public execution, Sir Speaker. We haven't needed one in years. In this case, I think it would be best to exile him. Being out there in the forest is a death sentence anyway.
My heart dropped even further. I thought he'd come to my rescue, but what he was suggesting was worse than death. No one in my lifetime had ever been exiled. The things you would endure out there would be much nastier than the quick hanging you would get here.
Please, I didn't mean...
Silence.
He stood in front of me, his icy eyes digging into my soul. I couldn't help but thinking about earlier in the town square when our eyes met. I flinched away from his gaze.
Perhaps you're right. Why dirty our own land with the blood of a criminal when we can let nature take care of it for us? Guards, take his arms. I'll escort him to the forest's edge.
Both my arms were seized by the burly guards. There was no hope of escaping. All I could do was follow behind the speaker, being pushed from behind the entire way. Yeah, right? Like, why was the front door unlocked? Maybe do better with your security, you piece of shit. I'm sorry, Daddy. I didn't mean it. Bye-bye. Okay, wait, AK, what do we call him? Do we call him Daddy? Father? Papa? Senor Swanky? What do we call him? What do we call him, AK? Jing Yuan was father. Who have we called Papa? I need to know what the vibes are for him. I hung my head in shame as I was paraded through the town. I could see faces peering at me from windows everywhere I went. All I could do was look down at the ground. Who could blame them? I would watch too. Like, honestly, I would too.
Release him. You may go. I will handle this from here.
The two guards saluted before marching off back into town. Once we couldn't see their backs anymore, he spoke.
I don't know why you would do what you did. Nevertheless, you must now live with the consequences. This might seem unfair. It would be best for you to learn just how unfair this world can be, though.
I looked up into his face. I couldn't tell what he was thinking at all, but I was mesmerized. He reached out and lightly caressed my chin with his fingertips. Up close, his long eyelashes trembled in the wind, and he looked almost ethereal, like he himself was one of the beings above. He's touching our chin! Oh my god, a gate before marriage? That's skin on skin contact, I can't.
You look just like your father did.
Hey, yo, what? You know my dad? Bitch, I'm an orphan. Who's my dad? At that, he released my face and turned to leave.
Run. Run and don't look back. Just like he did.
His back slowly disappeared into town. I thought about going back the same way, hiding at the orphanage, but everyone just saw me being marched through town like that. Hold up. Okay, hold up. Time out. Pause. Our character clearly heard him say, "You look just like your father. We're an orphan. We don't know who our dad is." So why the fuck didn't we interrupt him and be like, "Wait, you know our dad? Well, who's our dad? We didn't say shit." There was no other choice. I had to leave, with only the clothes on my back, the envelope from the matron, the book I had stolen accidentally from the speaker, and my regret. I feel like we're pretty prepared though, you know? Achievement unlocked. The hidden world. Oh. I ran. I ran like I'd never ran before. It felt like my heart would burst out of my chest at any second, and my lungs burnt with every breath. Muscles I didn't even know I had ached. Even when I thought I couldn't go any further, I kept running. When I finally collapsed, all I could see was trees and darkness in all directions. I was completely lost. I laid down on my back and caught my breath. What can I do now? I've lost everything. No home to return to, no family. What will everyone at the orphanage think when they find out? Will they be disappointed? Angry? Will they think I've abandoned them? Betrayed them? A million thoughts ran through my head all at once. I took a deep breath of the fresh forest air and calmed my thoughts. It was only then when I realized the situation I was in. Here I was, sprawled out on the forest floor, alone, at night. I suddenly picked up all of my things I hadn't noticed before. A scratching sound, bushes rustling, a howling from somewhere far in the distance. The wind picked up and whipped my hair around my face, only adding to the sudden terror that had struck my heart. All the stories I'd been told since childhood about venturing outside of Aurelia Cavella hit me. In fact, I hadn't only heard of them, I'd repeated the same ones to the children time and time again. Nobody left the confines of Aurelia Cavella. The forest was a dangerous place that spread to the far corners of the planet, and only by the protection of the beings above had we lived in peace for so long. I strained my eyes, trying to look into the darkness that surrounded me. Finally, I dragged myself up from the forest floor. I pulled my coat tighter around myself for security and nervously checked that I still had all of my belongings before turning back the way I came. Maybe if I stay close to the city lights, it'll scare away any danger? I don't know.
It was this way, right?
Oh, we're fucking lost.
Or this way?
No matter which direction I turned to face, the trees looked the same, and from every angle I could hear strange noises.
Come on. Which way? Which way?
I whipped my head from left to right before dropping my head into my hands. I unconsciously let out a sigh.
It's hopeless.
Once again, I was surrounded by the sounds of the forest and the feeling of the unknown. Who knew it would be this scary? An eerie feeling gripped my heart. I could feel eyes on me.
No, I must be imagining it.
Suddenly, it was quiet. All I could hear was my own heartbeat, quickening by the second. I had to get out of here. With no sense of direction, I just ran until I couldn't run anymore. No matter where I went, everything looked the same. The trees started to blend together in my eyes, becoming one entity. I collapsed onto the ground and crawled backwards until my body hit a tree. Just the feeling of having something behind me made me feel more secure. I buried myself into its huge roots. I could barely make out my hand in front of my face in the pitch black darkness. The night was freezing. I brought my knees up to my chest, hugging it tight to try and get some warmth. I felt the letter that I had hidden in my clothes.
I'm sorry.
With the letter clutched close to my heart, I shut my eyes to try and escape from the dangers of reality. And we died.
Destined child.
Mama?
False prophecy. Speak. Awaken.
Huh?